Hi everyone, welcome back to the Social Media Simternship by Stukent. In this video, we are going to cover round 4, our first paid social post round. To start this round, we want to review our results and the data from previous rounds. So if we scroll through our results, if you remember, you can click on Post History and review all of the posts from all previous rounds. So I encourage you to click through and review the feedback provided on every single post from previous rounds to see areas where we performed well and areas where we might want to make a few changes. After we go through our round results, we can click on our scenario. And in this round, we are given a few assignments here. And then we can see that our goals have changed. So in our paid social post rounds, our goal for impressions has increased to 500,000 and our revenue goal has increased to 35,000. Now we want to look at our inbox. If you remember, we get an email from the Vice President of Marketing each week, and this gives us information. So now we are a social media strategist. And instead of creating organic posts, we are focusing on promotional advertising. So in this round, we have to make some different decisions than we did from the organic post rounds. One of those changes is now selecting an ad objective. So I encourage you to read through this information, read through the 3 types of goals: awareness, consideration, and conversions. Then we can scroll down and look at our budget. So in this round, we have a new budget of $10,000 compared to $1,500 in previous rounds. And our budget is going to be allocated towards our promotion, not just the media in these rounds. So please make sure to read through the budget information. And then it gives us some information about moving forward, things we need to do. So please make sure to read through all of this information. After this, we can click on our chat messages and we can look at our messages, make sure to reply to these. Then we have our market information and our documents. These are the same as they were from previous rounds. So we have our products, our market profiles, and information on our budget again. We can also look at our review documents. For this round, I want to highlight the Reynolds Research Report. This is one document we didn't look at in quite as much detail in previous rounds. I encourage you to look through this as it gives us advertising trends and best practices here. So we can see our advertising spend by channel. So 32% of advertising is done on social media. We can also look at our top revenue generating social media platforms for the North American bag industry. We've got Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, then TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and other. So this is something to keep in mind because our revenue goal has increased. We will likely want to use Facebook and Instagram as these are our top 2 performing platforms. We also want to read about fastest growing social media platforms over the last 3 years. Sales from bag advertisements on Pinterest have increased by almost 20%. So this is something to keep in mind as well. So let's go ahead and go over to creating our paid social posts. Here we have some steps for creating our posts. Please make sure to read through each of these in detail. Then I encourage you to watch the paid post walkthrough video, 3 minutes and 37 seconds. After that, we can go ahead and start creating our content. If I go back to my simulation engagement times, looking at my platforms and my audiences, this time I am going to create content on City Hopper Sue and the Hipster Mom Cami profiles. These are 2 profiles that we did not use or did not use frequently in the organic rounds. So I thought we would try these 2 profiles for round 4. So for City Hopper Sue, we can see that City Hopper Sue is on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Hipster Mom Cami is on Pinterest, Facebook, and YouTube. So for these posts, I'm going to pick YouTube and Pinterest. I'm picking Pinterest because this is a growing platform for revenue. And I'm picking YouTube for City Hopper Sue because it is the platform that most represents the City Hopper Sue profile. So I recognize that YouTube, if I go back to my simulation, I recognize that YouTube is not a high revenue generating platform, but the purpose of this video is not to create the most amount of revenue, it's to provide you guys a walkthrough. So I want you to see content on YouTube as well as Pinterest. So let's go ahead and click on our create social posts, minimize these, and we will start with our City Hopper Sue profile. So for City Hopper Sue, we said we were going to pick YouTube, and I'm going to select a video. So the first thing we need to select is our campaign objective. If you remember back in the inbox, we have the options of awareness, consideration, and conversions. For this post, I'm going to select website traffic. So the purpose of my ad is to direct individuals to the website to learn more about our products. We can see now that we do have a different layout. So we need to have a headline for our video. Then we have our video text. We'll want to select our media. We need a call to action. We have to provide our website URL. We need to allocate our daily budget. So how much of our budget are we going to allocate towards this ad each day? And then lastly, we'll need to create an audience. So let's start with our media. So for my media, I'm going to select City Map Walk. And in this visual or this video, I've got two women explore a busy city street, one pointing ahead while the other holds a map with historic architecture and market activities surrounding them. So this video is only $1,000. So overall, this video does not take up too much of my budget. So now that I have my media, I want to come back to my video headline and my text. My headline is going to say, Adventure starts downtown. And my caption is going to say, planning your next city adventure. The Bahamas tote keeps your essentials organized in style. Where will you explore next? So now we've got our headline, our text, and our media. We can go down and select our call to action. Because my objective is website traffic, I want individuals to learn more. So I want them to visit our website to learn more about this Bahamas tote. So I'm going to link the website URL to Bahamas tote. One thing I forgot to check is the text. So my caption here is 122 characters. If I go back to my review documents, if I click on my social media audit, I can look at my character count. So we're on YouTube and the character count is 40 to 125. Mine was 122. So that fits nicely within the realm. So now we can go down to looking at our budget. So here, this tells us our ad will run for 7 days. So for our paid social post rounds, we don't schedule a day and time because the ad runs for 7 days, this time starting on November 6th and ending on November the 12th. It tells us the dollar amount you set will be the budget for each day. So in previous years of running the simulation, students have had better success with a higher daily or higher total budget and creating fewer paid posts. If you remember back in the organic rounds, I encouraged you to create more posts. In the paid social post round, I will do the opposite. I encourage you to spend more on your daily budget as compared to creating more posts. So for this one, I'm going to start out with a $250 daily budget. So here my total budget is $1,750. We'll start with this and we might make adjustments before we submit the round. Let's go ahead and come down to our audience. So remember we were using our City Hopper Sue profile. So our age range is 26 to 35, gender is female, income, and then we have our interests here. So if I go back to my simulation, I'm going to change my age range to 25 to 40. So we'll see how this works out. I selected 25 to 40 because it's a little bit wider than the City Hopper Sue profile. This way we're capturing a little bit of the audience on either side of that age range. For my interests, I have to add my interests one at a time. So for my interests, I'm going to add travel, urban lifestyle, fashion, shopping, weekend getaways, dining, and photography. My location is automatically set to the United States, and I can save this audience for future posts and future rounds. So I'm going to save this as City Hopper Sue. Now I can select the select and save audience. So this will save my audience for future posts. So as a quick review, we have our headline, our text, we have our media. I think all of this should be in alignment because we have our Bahamas tote talking about keeping you organized. We've got adventure. We've got our call to action, learn more, which should relate with our website traffic. It looks like my URL did not stick. So let's add the Bahamas tote again. We have our daily budget. We have our audience. So I'm going to go ahead and select schedule video. So now we can see our video is added here and we have $7,250 remaining. So I'm going to create our second post. If you remember, our second post was going to be for hipster mom Cami, and we were going to use Pinterest. So I can select Pinterest. And again, I have to select my campaign objective. This time I'm going to select conversions. So I want individuals to convert and buy the product. So I can create my content. And our outline looks relatively similar. So I've got my headline, my text, my media, call to action, website URL, budget, and audience. So let's go ahead and select our media. For this post, I'm going to select a video and I want to search for something with children. So here I've got 4 different options to choose from. We can see that they have different price points. So I've got $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, and $3,000. Remember, we are allocating a fair amount of our budget to the daily budget for our paid posts. So you might consider selecting one of the lower cost visuals. So that way you can allocate more budget. I'm going to go ahead and select the window wonder for $3,000. And this is partly because I'm only creating 2 posts. Even though I'm telling you guys that you do want to allocate a lot of your budget to this daily budget, you'll still likely need to create more than just 2 posts. So I've got my visual here. I can go up to my headline. And I have style meets everyday function. Then I need my caption. Here I have from school drop-offs to weekend errands, the signature tote keeps you organized and ready for anything. What's always in your bag? Since I'm mentioning using the signature tote, we can go ahead and select our website URL to match the signature tote. And we need a call to action. Because my call to action was conversions, I'm going to select shop now as it relates to shopping now and the conversions. So right now, this post is going to cost me $3,007 at a minimum. We have this $7 because you have to allocate at least $1 to your daily budget for a total of $7 for the week. So I've got a little bit over $4,000 remaining at this point. So for this video, I am going to go ahead and use the maximum daily budget, which is $500 per day or $3,500 for the week. And now I can see that remaining, I only have $750. Let's look at our pin text here. We have 131 characters. If I go back to my audit on Pinterest, our character count should be between 40 and 125. So I actually need to go back and make this post a little bit shorter. To cut this post a little bit, I'm going to remove always. So now I've got what's in your bag instead of what's always in your bag. And this takes my character count down to 124, which is within that recommended amount. So let's scroll down now. We have our call to action. We have our website URL. We already selected our budget. Let's go ahead and create an audience. If you notice now, you have a saved audience, which is our City Hopper Sue. So we could select this one. However, we're using Hipster Mom Cami. So we do want to create an audience for Hipster Mom Cami. So let's go back and look at our age range. So 33 to 42, female, and then we have our interests listed here. So I'm going to do the same thing I did last time and use a little bit wider range on my age. I'm going to select 30 to 45. And I'm going to add my interests again one at a time. Got parenting, family activities, fashion, home decor, DIY, shopping, and lifestyle blogs. All right, you can add more interests if you desire. I recommend probably a minimum of 7, maybe a maximum of 12 to 15. We'll find out after we run this round if our interests align or if we're encouraged to create more interests in future rounds. So again, our location here is the United States. We're going to save our audience. We're going to name it Hipster Mom Cami. And we'll click the select and save audience. So now we can just do a quick review, our headline, our text, our media, call to action website, daily budget, audience, and we can click schedule pin. Since I'm only creating 2 videos for this round, we still have a budget of $750. So let's go back to our City Hopper Sue and let's increase that daily budget. Okay, it looks like I can increase my daily budget up to $357 per day, and that leaves me with $1 remaining in my budget. So let's go ahead and use that, and we'll schedule our video. So here we can see that we've got a balance of $1, and it tells us you must have at least $7 remaining in your budget to create a new post. So I think at this point we are good to go. So we can click on the review and submit round. It reminds us that we still need to answer our chat messages. I'll let you guys do that on your own. And let's submit the round to see how we did. All right, we're in round 5. And my score is an overall 40%. So this did not go quite as well as I had hoped. I can see here my impression goal is not met, and my revenue goal is also not met. When we start round 5, we will review the results of this round, and then we will make new posts for round 5. All right. I hope your guys' round 4 went better than mine, and I will see you back here for round 5.